All right, guys, this is Normal Central coming back at you with another YouTube video, and I really do appreciate all the love and support on my YouTube channel so far. You see my social media accounts at the bottom right here on my Instagram account and Twitter. I typically get on those accounts pretty often, so if I'm not on YouTube, I am pretty much on those accounts pretty often, getting out Florida State news and recruiting news and stuff like that as well. Be sure to give those a follow, as also subscribe to the channel, and also let's give this video a like today. We got some big news ahead of us, and I'm not going to go ahead and even stop the video with all these promotions and everything like that. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. So Florida State had a huge, huge, huge commitment today in terms of a four-star running back from the Tallahassee area, Micahi Danzy. This is a guy that Florida State has loved in terms of just production and what he brings to the table. I understand that Florida State has a five-star running back, technically four-star. Some on three and other places have not recruited him properly with Cam Davis. And this is a Florida State commit that has been, that type of, workhorse for Florida State in terms of bringing prospects onto campus. Been a big recruiter alongside Luke Cromenhawk, and I think he's been a guy that Florida State really likes. That's not to say that Cam Davis is a bad player. He's not wavering, anything like that. I think he brings another dimension to Cam Davis with that, with Danzy, because Danzy's more of that speedy, going to be able to get a burner type of runner that you don't have in Davis. And Davis is very, very fast. He's strong, physical, runs a lot of efficient ways, kind of like a Leonard Fournette almost. But I do think with Cam Davis and also Micahi Danzy as well, I think those two can kind of counteract each other. Being able to be together in a backfield, I think, is very important there. And it's also kind of worth mentioning as well. You look at the current roster that Florida State has at the running back position. Trey Benson is a redshirt junior. What if he has a tremendous season? What happens then? I think both of those guys could actually be a contributor early on in their careers. You got guys like Lawrence Philly, Rodney Hill, Keziah Holmes as well. There's a couple of guys that you can look to, even Sam Singleton, if he's able to kind of make a difference too early on in his career. There is some talented backs in this group. I mean, it's not just a wash. I didn't even include C.J. Campbell, who I think is also another productive back that they have in their system. So when you're looking at everybody that comes through at Florida State in Tallahassee, Florida State's not really done a good job of keeping their hometown kids in Tallahassee. And that was a big emphasis on getting him to stay at home. He visited Florida State over 4 times during the spring. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot because he is from Tallahassee. It's right down the road. But you want to see that interest being mutual. And you're seeing guys like Terron Arnold going to Alabama, and even Alonzo Hampton that may not be able to choose Florida State today with that commitment and everything. But just kind of looking at everything that's going on right now, I think Danzy's a perfect back. You look at him during his junior season, he accumulated over 1,800 yards, 17 touchdowns. He runs a 10.61 in the 100-meter dash. I think is very important. Just kind of shows you what it takes to be in his skill set. He's a burner. I mean, he is an absolute burner when you're looking at him. So basically, him and Cam Davis can be thunder and lightning together and have that perfect complement of what Florida State likes to do offensively, and that's run the ball and establish the run at an efficient level. I think when you're looking at it, Jordan Travis is going to be leaving the program after this year. You're going to have to find an answer at quarterback, but you know what you have in your running backs at this point. And I think David Johnson's done a good job in developing and acquiring talent and developing that talent as we go through here. But just going ahead and getting back to Danzy's recruitment. Danzy actually officially visited Florida State during that loaded June 23rd weekend. It was very important because Florida State had a ton of guys on campus, highly touted prospects at that. And during his exit meetings with a couple of those various media members that were there, he named Florida State his #1 school. And I think that was very important going into that. You kind of had a sense of what was going on because he hasn't visited any other schools officially. And, he had a couple of visits here and there, like Miami, Florida, UCF, schools like that he was visiting. But just overall, I think, this was a sensation where he came to campus, he loved it, he wanted to come back for another visit. He didn't really entertain the idea of other schools, and Florida State really took a big advantage of this. This coaching staff continued to develop relationships, and I think that was very important as we went through that recruitment. And now with Florida State going through that and picking up Danzy, they now have have 18 commitments in the class. They rank number 10th in the composite rankings for 247 Sports. Very important getting up in those rankings. A lot of fans were starting to worry about recruiting efforts from Florida State. Now they picked up 7 commitments in the month of July, and now we're getting into fall camp next month, and it's going to be a huge, exciting time because season's right around the corner against LSU coming up in Orlando. And I think it's very important that Florida State continues to put their foot on the gas in terms of recruiting because that is where they're going to be able to get most of their success for the 24 season and getting those depth pieces that they need, especially there. So I'm really excited to see how Florida State goes with that. But you look at Florida State's 24 recruiting class. They've already got a quarterback for the future. They have 2 running backs. They have 5 receivers. They have 1 tight end that's very, very talented, 2 offensive linemen. They pretty much almost done, if not done, with the offensive side of the ball. I know they're going to go out and try to get some bigger fish as we go through here. Maybe a Jeremiah Smith, maybe an option there, and some other guys also. But just kind of looking, maybe they might go after another offensive lineman. Maybe they might expand the board and try to get 3. Who knows? But, I mean, pretty much they're almost done with that. And now you're looking at the defense side of the ball, and they're kind of next with that. You know, you got a Charles Lester that's going to be announcing on July 28th with Alabama, Colorado, Georgia, and Florida State. I think it's very important there because he has been a lean to Florida State for quite some time, as most of the crystal balls indicate. But now I think Florida State's kind of getting into a groove. I think Danzy with that pickup is absolutely massive. This is the recruiting momentum that you need in terms of getting back to where Florida State wants to be one day as a program, consistency-wise, as well as recruiting at a high level. I think is very important. But I really appreciate all the love and support. As always, like I said, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get as much content as I can out daily about Florida State team news as well as recruiting. Be sure to hit the like button as well. Let's try to get this video up to 50 likes today because we have had an exciting news break this afternoon. And I hope each and every one of you have a great rest of the day. And as always, go Noles.